If you could pick the best midfielders for the US men's national team, who would it be and why? Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. Today we have another episode of our US men's national team depth chart videos where we update you every 2 months on the defense, midfield, and the forwards. We already did the forwards if you're watching this video, and today we're going to do the midfielders. And how is it going to go? So for midfielders, we're going to do 4 defensive midfielders, or essentially that play a 6 role, and 8 central midfielders that play an 8 role. I'm not going to use a 10 role because Greg Berhalter normally doesn't use it. However, this is my depth chart, not Greg's. So if you say Greg disagrees with me, it might happen. But these are my players, and make sure to comment yours down below. What players would make it to your depth chart? So 4 holding midfielders, or 6s, and 8 8s. Along with that, in this video, I will be telling you my picks for 2 months ago, before World Cup qualifying, and we'll see what changed along those lines. Without further ado, hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and hit the notification bell. Technically, I could try to squeeze in Break Shea in this video because he could play as a midfielder. But I'll think about it. We'll see. Let's play the intro. Okay, so we can do the defensive midfielders. To start with it, we have to go through the 4 players I picked 2 months ago. All right, so the 4 players that I picked as a defensive midfielder. And keep in mind one thing. If a player is versatile enough, you might see me put them as a 6 and at the 8 depth chart. So you could see players being repeated. Now, let's go through the 4 I picked 2 months ago, and then I'm going to go through my current one. So 2 months ago, before World Cup qualifying had started, this is how it looked. Tyler Adams was my number 1 as a 6. Kellyn Acosta was the number 2. James Sands from New York City FC was my 3rd option. And Johnny Cardoso, the Brazilian-American from Internacional that has been picking up some decent form lately for Inter, was my 4th option. Okay, now let's see what changed. So these are the 4, and now I'm going to explain, but first let me give you the list. Tyler Adams remains as the number 1 option. The number 2 option for me is still Kellyn Acosta, and I'll explain why very soon. Gianluca Busio would be my 3rd option, and Yunus Musa, yes, I would try him there at the 6, is my 4th option. All right, so Tyler Adams as the 6 is a no-brainer right now. He is clear of that position, lock and start, and maybe the most vital player in our team right now. Kellyn Acosta is my number 2, but he's not my favorite player. He's my number 2 because Greg gave him so many opportunities to a point where he finally performed well, and he was key for our trophy in Gold Cup. So essentially, that's the main reason Kellyn Acosta there. And I also think he can do pretty well on defensive duties. On the ball, Kellyn Acosta lacks quite a bit, along with inconsistent performances, which many might try to argue against that, but Kellyn Acosta is not consistent. He can't do those Gold Cup performances in a consistent basis. Now, Gianluca Busio has been playing for Venezia as an 8 most of the time, and even for the US men's national team. But we've seen him play as a 6 in MLS, as a regista deep-lying playmaker. We know he can do it. He does struggle with the physicality at times, and honestly, my main issue with him at the 6 is his tracking back. I don't think it's the best. So when you miss the ball and you're playing as a 6, you need to protect the back line. I don't think he does it to the best of his ability yet, but he is improving a lot in Italy. I would give him a shot at the 6 eventually. He does take over the spot James Sands that James Sands held 2 months ago. I would have Gianluca Busio as a regista for the US men's national team. So my 4th option is more of a gamble because we haven't seen Yunus Musa play as a 6 yet, but I do think he has all the attributes necessary to be a good 6. He's athletic, good position, high soccer IQ, very technical, good on distribution. So he could be a ball-winning 6 and a deep-lying playmaker at the same time, if that makes any sense. Anyhow, the one problem I have with Yunus Musa is sometimes he does fall asleep on defense, technically. He's not as focused or as aware. And we've seen this on the game against Barcelona for Valencia when he fell asleep and Coutinho scored a goal. We've seen this in the Jamaica friendlies. I've talked about it many times in the channel. That's my only concern. But that's something he can learn. I called it lazy defending, which I don't want to say he's lazy, but sometimes on defense it does seem he's not as aware, doesn't have the sense of urgency. Regardless, I would try Yunus Musa as a 6 at least once or twice to see how he does. Regardless, right now it's Tyler Adams, Kellyn Acosta, Gianluca Busio, and Yunus Musa. Now, before we move on to the 8s, the only thing I want to point out is out of these 4 players, 3 of them can help a lot on the build-up. And that's where Kellyn Acosta struggles the most. That's just one thing I want to point out. But Acosta is better than Yunus Musah and Busio on the defensive end. So I do need to give him credit for that as well. Now let's move forward to the 8s. And hopefully by now you already hit the like button. You already subscribed. You already commented Break Shay's the GOAT. That's probably the comment I would like to get trending for this video. Just comment that Break Shay's the GOAT. Let's see how many comments we can get in regards to that. All right, let's go to the 8s. Okay, now before I give you my list again, I need to go through the list of 8s that I did 2 months ago. So let's go through the 8 players that I selected as our central midfielders. Okay, so 2 months ago before World Cup qualifying, I picked Weston McKennie as our #1 option. Yunus Musah, which he was still injured back then, but he was my second option. Julian Green as our 3rd option. That's going to drop for sure in this video. Luca De La Torre as our 4th option. Sebastian Lletget as our 5th option. That's probably going to drop as well. Gianluca Busio as our 6th option. Eric Williamson, that unfortunately has an ACL injury, so he's going to be out. And Caden Clark as our 8th option. So what changes here? Right away, Eric Williamson, he's out. So let's see who's going to be added. Let me go through my list, and then we'll see what changes. So here's my current list. Now, my #1 is Giovanni Reyna. He started off the season playing as an 8 for Borussia Dortmund, so he's proven he can play as an 8, and I'm putting him on this list. Originally, I didn't have him as an 8 because Dortmund didn't play him much as an 8, neither did Greg. Now, my second option is Weston McKennie, as it was before. The third one is Yunus Musah, so that order didn't change. Now, my fourth, I'm moving Gianluca Busio at the 8 as one of the options. I liked Busio against Costa Rica for the US men's national team camp, and he's been fantastic in the Serie A for Venezia playing as an 8. So he's my fourth option right there. My fifth option is Luca De La Torre, which in my opinion deserves more opportunities in the US men's national team. The problem with De La Torre is he takes a lot of risks, right? A lot of incisive passing, progressing the ball forward, and Greg likes to hold possession in a safer manner. So De La Torre might not fit the way Greg wants the team to play, maybe, but I think he should play more, and he's my fifth option. Now, my option number 6, which honestly this might be a surprise to many, is Kellyn Acosta. Yes, I did put him at the 6th role, and I'm also putting him at the 8th role here as a central midfielder. And Acosta is essentially an 8. He can cover a lot of ground, and in a midfield with 2 technical players, so if Acosta is next to Tyler Adams and Yunus Musah, he can be a useful player as an 8. So he is my 6th option for now. And then let's go now to my 7th option, which is Julian Green. And the reason Julian Green dropped in the depth chart was because he's benched at Fürth. They're by far the worst team in Bundesliga. So as of now, he has to fall on this depth chart. And he also wasn't in the national team, so we didn't get a look at him in camp as well. So he has dropped, unfortunately. Now, my 8th option is Sebastian Lletget. Yes, he's still making it here. He's getting very close to not being on the depth chart anymore, and probably on our update in December, he might not be there. I am looking forward to adding as an 8 maybe Christian Kappes, Caden Clark after a move to Leipzig if he gets minutes. There's many different options there, and I look forward to it because then I can, not going to hate on Lletget, but right now he's still my number 8 here. But it's getting close for him to being removed. And number 8 means he shouldn't be in the roster, in my personal opinion. I don't hate the boy, but it's just how I see it. All right, everyone, this does it for the midfielders edition. Go make sure to check out our forwards and our defense and comment yours down below. You know what? Thank you very much for watching. Remember, Break Shay's the GOAT. Hit the like button and have a great day.